welcome. This is the Market Wrap. I am Agam Vakil. We are taking a look at how the markets have fared today, with the benchmark indices showing marginal gains. We haven't really seen too much in today's day of trade. However, when it comes to gainers, we are looking at advances in Vedanta and Coal India, followed by BPCL and Power Grid, all advancing in trade today. We have some gains in ICICI Bank and Bajaj Finserv too. On the losing end, however, two stocks which have been under pressure over the last 1 month, losing out even further. Yes Bank down 6%, and Indiabulls Housing Finance also declining in trade, with some weakness in Maruti Suzuki, Hindalco and Asian Paints. Let's take a look at the broader markets too. Well, fairly evenly poised between gainers and losers, though we do have more losers in compared to those stocks which advanced in today's day of trade on the NSE 500. Praj Industries along with Bharat Dynamics did advance, and Varun Beverages were recovering most of the losses that we saw yesterday. SRF is the other one, which is, it looks very interesting considering the kind of open interest positions that we've seen in the futures and options space. And on the losing end, Jet Airways down 41% in today's day of trade. We'll talk about that in a little more detail in just a bit. Jet Irrigation losing out 21%. And then there are the usual suspects, the ADAG group companies as well as Diwan Housing Finance on the losing end. But on that note, I'm going to bring in our markets editor Neeraj Shah for his view. Neeraj, what have you made of markets today?
Well, interesting, just about a short covering maybe which led to this. I don't quite know if this will last or not, but a lot of people today throughout the day mentioned that they are clearing up some of their short positions. Nifty, PCR at about 1.
Yeah.
And a lot of key stocks at some key moving averages. So maybe some bounce was due. And maybe that's what we've seen today. Don't quite know how long it will last. It's not that the world markets were gung-ho in the session today. It'll be interesting to see. Just that today's session, compared to the last few days, the volume and the participation has been a bit higher, both on the FNO side and the cash side. Right. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. The last few days, the FI selling has not been there. Yeah. Will we see that today? That is one key question to note. And I mean, at some point of time, good valuations will be taken cognizance of. Yes. So maybe some bit of good news, a deal happening, the SL Group deal happening, or maybe the autos sentiment turning a little bit in around the festive season, right. Or if monsoon doesn't look as bad as what the current statements are about to be, maybe all of that helps. But yeah, it certainly seems like a market which is not at 11,700, but maybe more at 10,500 or thereabouts, in sentiment at least.
Sure, about in terms of sentiment. Neeraj, thanks for that perspective there. So sentiment has dampened right now, and it's not encouraging that you see just marginal moves, especially after a day of sharp cuts coming through. But there is one stock that I'd like to talk about, and that's HDFC AMC, where we've seen a little bit of problem. Even just a few days ago, it was actually trading at life highs or near life highs, and it has now come off by around 5.5% today. I'm going to get in Darshan Mehta to talk to us about what's gone on wrong here. Darshan.
So what they did was, in an announcement yesterday after market hours, they said that they will purchase up to 500 crores of exposure to the SL Group companies, and that the market didn't like. What this means is that the money that it will be taken on the books of HDFC AMC for two schemes, basically the one that matured in April 2019 and the one for which it had the FMP scheme that had a deal with the SL Group that they won't sell because the restructuring was on. Morgan Stanley came out with a note on HDFC AMC. While they say that this will benefit a lot of these investors and unit holders, they take the risk of taking this entire loan on their books, and in case there is a default there, that could bring big trouble for HDFC AMC, and because of this, even the surety cover has come down for HDFC AMC. So that's negative. The counter was down almost 5% in trade. So for an exposure of 500 crores, they've lost market cap in excess of 2,500 crores today.
Right, Darshan, thanks for joining us and getting us those details. So HDFC on the losing end, but there are two stocks which actually bucked the trend and advanced today. And I am going to get in Yash Upadhyay to talk to us about those two. Yash, what's on your list?
So we're looking at SRF and most importantly Varun Beverages, but I'll start first with SRF, and that closed the day 5% higher, and that was mainly on account of the upgrade in target price which was announced by MK. So they continue to maintain an overweight stance on the stock, but they've hiked the target price on the counter. Now they attribute the fact that they see strong earnings growth in the near term for the company on the back of strong demand in its specialty chemicals business, along with the debottlenecking in its technical textiles business, and the fact that the company is seeing favorable demand supply scenario in the BOPET, which is the packaging films business. So all of these factors combined make them extremely bullish on the counter, and they expect their EBITDA margins, in fact, to go up from the levels of about 18%, touching close to 18.5%, and in fact 19% for FY20 and FY21, on the back of which we saw that big move of almost 5% today. But that apart, Varun Beverages was in focus as well. After 3 consecutive days of losses, the stock in fact managed to close in the green today. It was up close to 5% in today's day of session, and what's more important is the fact that even the volumes were on the higher side for the counter, so almost 3 times its 30-day average. And as you could see, it ended the day with 5% higher. It had fallen close to 7% in yesterday's day of trade, but the volumes weren't that impressive. But on the back of heavy volumes, the stock has managed to close higher, and most importantly, it has taken out the 50-day moving average as well. So that indicates that there is strength in the move higher for Varun Beverages from here on.
Right. Yash, thank you so much for joining us and taking us through those stocks. And I do want to end our conversation here by talking about Jet Airways. Jet Airways, it so happens that yesterday we had a lenders meet, and the lenders have decided to refer Jet Airways to the IBC and will begin the bankruptcy proceedings. To a large extent, this was on expected lines, and that is explained by the kind of movements that we've seen in Jet Airways. Well, around the 4th of June, Jet Airways was trading at around the mark of 140 rupees per share, and since then it has fallen, and well, at this point in time it is down at around 40 rupees per share. So from 140 rupees to 40 rupees per share, it's a cut of 70% in just 10 trading sessions, a severe loss. There's a likelihood that we could see some more weakness, and at this point in time it does seem like all the major players involved, including the likes of the founder of the company, Naresh Goyal, has thrown in the towel. Again, there isn't much to speak for besides the fact that it will be referred to IBC proceedings. We will keep getting you more updates on the same, but for now the stock is under intense pressure, and we haven't even seen the end of this particular expiry. Well, we'll be watching out for that. And on that note, it's a wrap on the markets, but lots more lined up. Stay tuned to Bloomberg.